October 1939. Belzoni, Mississippi. A man in a hat is climbing a staircase bolted to the outside of a building on his way to the picture show. Painted on the wall beside him, an arrow, a word, and a price. Colored. Admission, 10 cents. That same stretch of years, the United States government had camera crews out in the same country. The Plow that broke the plains, 1936, for the Resettlement Administration. The River, 1938, for the Farm Security Administration. Power and the Land, 1940, for the Department of Agriculture. They filmed the end of the day. And that is the latest hour of the day we found in any of the three. They filmed the week. In none of the three did we find what came after it. Somebody on the same payroll did. This is what they filmed instead: cotton, and the sacks, and the row. And at the end of that, in an office, a number. November 1939. The caption is a single line. A clerk is adding cotton exchange prices from other exchanges to a tote board. Then, something the film keeps coming back to, the lamps being cleaned, the glass going back on. A shirt being pressed. A chimney set down over a lit wick. The film shows people getting ready. And then it cuts away. Her name was Marion, post Wolcott, born 1910. She worked for the Farm Security Administration, the same agency that paid for one of those three films. The earliest of hers here is September 1938. A coal miner in Caples, McDowell County, West Virginia. The caption adds one word about him: polish. May 1939, near Camden, Alabama. Here is the entire caption for this photograph. Old African American, near Camden, Alabama. No name, no age, nothing he said. 3 years of that. That was the job. On the same trips, with the same camera, she photographed what we did not find in any of those three films. November 1939, outside Clarksdale, Mississippi, in the Delta. A woman in a white sweater and riding boots, mid-step, a man in a hat and tie coming down off his heel. The Library of Congress caption reads, "Jitterbugging in Negro Juke Joint, Saturday evening." Same night. Paper streamers hung from the ceiling, overcoats, indoors, in November. A month earlier, in Memphis, she got the band. One man of it, the drummer, mid-strike, behind the kit. The caption reads, "Drummer in orchestra in Memphis Juke Joint, Tennessee." It gives no name. What the record does give is how the picture got to us. 2 lines, nitrate negative, and transfer from the Office of War Information, 1944. A man nobody wrote the name of, kept by the government on nitrate, film stock that burns, and handed to a library while the war was still on. August 1940. 300 North Rampart Street, New Orleans. Painted across the front of the building. 3 floor shows nightly. 11 at night. 1:30 in the morning. 3:30 in the morning. 3:30 in the morning. Painted on the wall in 1940. And here, the file changes color. The medium line for this one reads, "One slide color," a crossroads out in the cotton plantation country at Melrose, Louisiana. The government's own caption lists what the building was: a store, a bar, a quote, juke joint, and a gas station. Store, bar, juke, joint, gas station. The same building. Nearby, a tenant house with a mud chimney and the cotton growing right up to the door. Natchez, Mississippi, that August. The title field is 2 words, Natchez, Miss. Everything else here you have to read off the wall. Pause, drink Coca-Cola, drink Royal Crown Cola, Orange Crush. Relax and enjoy. The plaster is coming off the wall. The paint on the signs is not. January 1941, Delacroix Island, Louisiana. Muskrat trappers, and the fur auction is being held inside a dance hall. Out at the marsh camp, a game the caption calls cash, a form of poker. The excursion steamer president came up the Mississippi from New Orleans to St. Louis every summer, stopping at the towns along the way. The caption lists what it sold, a 4-hour, quote, moonlight ride, a dance orchestra, an elaborate ballroom. Tied up at Lake Providence, Louisiana, waiting for the evening trip, somebody was buying tickets. One more thing, before the wall. January 1939, Miami, a Masonic temple in the years it was running as a federal theater. And across the front of the building, in letters you can read from the lawn, Federal Theater. The government did put money into a night out. It paid for both cameras. Only one of them went inside. Go back to those 3 films for a second. We went through all 3 at one frame every 5 seconds, 37 contact sheets. In none of them did we find a dance floor, or a band, or a bar, or a movie house. And in none of them did we find a sign like the ones that are coming. Back to Belzoni that same October. A drugstore, a cafe, and a building with one word across the front, Harlem. A movie house in the same town, the same month, Dr. Pepper, painted across the top of the building, good for life. A sign for cash night on Friday, $400. And the staircase, bolted to the outside, with the arrow you have already seen, colored. Admission, 10 cents. The library's caption for this photograph reads, African American man going in colored, entrance of movie house on Saturday afternoon, Belzoni, Mississippi Delta, Mississippi, Saturday afternoon, not a back room at midnight, the middle of the day in the light. Now the bottom of that same staircase in the same photograph. A door, and inside it, a printed card, white men only, 2 signs, 1 wall. Beale Street, Memphis, the same month. On the front window, in letters a foot high, Rex Billiard Hall for colored, painted on the glass. Not on a card in the window. Down the same street, a movie house, Buck Jones, Gene Autry, double feature today, and pasted on the brick beside it, twice, all night Halloween ball, Tuesday, October 31st. June 1939, a highway in South Carolina. Spanish moss and a hand-lettered sign on a post with an arrow, Bronzeville Inn, cabins for colored. And on the shack beside it, pasted up twice, the Odeon Theater, new summer policy, double feature programs, a place to sleep, and what was playing in the same frame. July 1940, a highway south of Bardstown, Kentucky. Tourist cabins built to imitate Indian teepees, gas pumps, Standard Oil, and a sign that reads, Eat and sleep in a wigwam. 13 months later, She was in Bernie, Montana, at the bar at the Saturday night dance. The caption says exactly that. People who came to Saturday night dance around the bar. Positively no beer sold to Indians. You could sleep in the shape of them. You could not drink beside them. And hanging beside that card, God Bless America. January 1941. Bourbon Street, looking downriver from Bienville, in daylight. Champagne bar, cocktail lounge, village bar. Doors closed in daylight. On the corner, a sandwich shop, and painted on the window in letters as big as anything else on it, ladies invited. Wall after wall in these pictures has been telling somebody where to stand. And the file itself does it too. September 1939, Orange County, North Carolina. Mrs. Lloyd, 91 years old, a victim of pellagra. She was born and raised in that county, and she had lived on that spot for 69 years, since the day she married. The same month, the same state, R.B. Whitley, of Wendell, in Wake County. He owned the general store. He was president of the bank. He owned a cotton mill and a farm. The caption says he owned and ran practically all of the town, and that he said he cut down the trees and pulled the stumps out of the main street himself, and was the first man in that town. Hers is 2 sentences long. His runs to a paragraph. And the man near Camden got 6 words. One of those films has 2 men crossing a yard in their hats. The building may be gone. The photograph is not. The window, the arrow, the card on the door, all of it's still in the file. They filmed the week. She got the rest. If their story stayed with you, subscribe to Lost and Found Archives and help keep them from being forgotten. New faces from before living memory